this topic, whenever this topic comes up, we can, dive into it. So that's good. Did we? So give me 1 second. All right. Okay, so we did cover Mahakal Chakra. So then we are talking about this. Did we read this astral body travel already? Yes. So I don't want to revisit that astral body travel. But one thing I would say is the astral body travel, which are used by the yogis, so called, it is not any, you should not think of it as like any power or any achievement. It is only for the sake of doing some work, and that's about it. So, I mean, if people are so, I've seen some systems where they talk so much about this astral body travel or bringing the astral body out. It's not going to help in any which way. I can tell you from my own experience. Okay, so let's get into this development of intuitive capacity. Intuition is inner guidance in the form of inspiration. See, the heart, when we say the heart speaks, correct? When we say the heart speaks, it is really referring to what is called intuition. Intuition is the form of expression of the heart. So these inspirations can come during meditation or when you are in a meditative state or sometimes even in dreams. Simplicity, purity, and selflessness create the conditions for the intuition to arise. So this is very important. You know, what is simplicity? What is purity? So what is causing impurity here? This is it's always, whenever you talk about many systems, okay, you are we are becoming pure. Even in Gita, Lord Krishna says, when you are in my remembrance, all your sins will be gone. And you'll hear similar uh, teachings from all aspects of religions. But what is a sin, really speaking? Right? There is, I really like that wonderful story. One kid, he continues, he was a very mischievous kid. He's always doing something very mischievous, which is causing the problem in the class. And the teacher complains to the father that, your kid is very mischievous. So one weekend, the father gives a project to this kid. He gives him a piece of wood and he says, he gives about 100 nails and he says, you put them into the wood. So the kid completes the task and tells, okay, now I'm done. I nailed all the things into the wood. And then the father says, remove them. And he removes it. He says, after he removes it, the holes it leaves, right? When you pull out the nail, it says it will remain. It cannot be filled. It cannot be changed. right? So, like that, he says, I mean, the moral of the story is when you make a mistake, you cannot change it. But that is a very fixative idea, right? So, then we are always looking for some solace, uh, something to rescue us, to make the wood back, make the wood look like the same wood when it started with. It cannot happen like that. Because life is a constant change and life every moment is filled with an opportunity. Regardless what we have done or what we have not done, we have the ability to modify, change our life. So, when I start thinking about the changes which I need to make into my life in a constructive way, that constructive way is simplicity. Simplicity does not mean, like in some of the systems, to be simple, they just put a loin cloth and they don't cook anything, they just live on somebody serving them. Oh, we are simple, we don't have anything, we don't want to keep anything. But what about the complex mind that no one talks about? So this is all external simplicity, which has this is it has no added value to the life. Life becomes simple when we understand, recognize our status, and see where we want to go and work towards it is simplicity. And what is purity? The purity begins the moment we connect with this higher essence, which we are doing in every meditation. And through constant remembrance, we are also connecting to that higher essence, which is eternal, which is omniscient, infinite. So many words we use. The moment the mind connects with that, see, the aspect of the mind is mind becomes that to which it is connected to which it is drawn to. If my mind is drawn to work, it becomes work. If my mind is drawn to a movie, it becomes the movie. So all that experience we are going through actually is happening in the mind. If I'm looking at a flower, my mind becomes the flower. When my mind is connected to this higher essence, it becomes pure. That's all purity means. It is not about changing my past or changing my future. If I put the nails into the wood and take them out, the holes will be there. They cannot be filled. So the true absolution of the sin is absolving the sin is I have to absolve myself by connecting to this higher essence. It's that simple. And what is selflessness? How do we look at selfless? Selfless, if just because I'm selfless doesn't mean I'll, I'll stop eating and then I'll give all my food to somebody who is in need. So then I'm always looking for someone who is in need. See, consciously, see how this works, this so-called our understanding of selflessness, I'll tell you how it works. I'll tell you stay away from this so-called selfless people because they're always wanting to help. For them to help, there has to be a need, has to be created. So it's consciously manifesting that need. That is not selflessness. Selflessness is where when when the need arises naturally, you attend to that need without expecting, without desiring something to fulfill yourself. When the need arises, suppose you're walking on a street and a kid fell down, you immediately lift the kid up and make sure the kid is all right. Correct? That is a selfless act. There is no expectation from you, from the kid, for helping that kid. There's no expectation. You are just attending to a situation which arised at that moment. But next time again I'm walking on the street, oh, I helped the kid. I want to help the any kid which falls. Then you are looking for you are manifesting that need. It has not arisen naturally. I become selfless when I am simple and pure, so I am always open to anything and everything. My mind becomes free. When my mind is free, I am open. When my mind is fixated, I'm not open. So when your mind is free, that means selfless, it will create the conditions for that intuition to arise naturally. Okay. So the seventh chakra is the astral realm. Why? Because until the sixth point, until the fifth point, what we call the heart region, in Sanskrit it is called pind. Pind is related to the body. The moment we remove this covering of the body, as you know, in the spiritual anatomy, there are three coverings. One is the physical, next one is the subtle, and the third is the causal. So now, by the time when we reach the seventh point, we have already, the physical layer is dissolved. That's why it becomes the subtle. Subtle is nothing but the astral realm. The astral realm has that intuitive capacity because all intuition is from the conscious state only. Of the finest type starts developing here. Because until the physical layer is there, we are so much caught up with that physical layer. But once we move from the physical layer into the astral layer, the intuition almost becomes natural. So, to help accelerate the inner transformation, the Abhyasi gets inspirations about what to do, what not to do, how to act, what decisions to make, what lifestyle to adopt, and so on. So, you can also see the lot of lifestyle changes because of this. It's very intuitively we are working on it. I mean, this happens to the Abhyasis who are like very self-observant, sensitive to the changes and what's going on with them. Otherwise, we keep making wrong decisions. We keep doing what we are doing. We are stuck with the patterns which we are used to. Then the change is becomes difficult. Like once Chariji, the previous master of the system, he used to say, until human life, the evolution is natural. But from the human life, it becomes difficult. But the possibility is more compared to the animal life. But it becomes difficult because we get fixated on many things. That's why I say there is no dogma in the religion, this dogma is in the people. No religion has taught dogmas. We created the dogmas because we get fixated. We are not open. So the astral realm gives indications and suggestions. They are like ideas filled with potential. It is for us to actualize them. So we can either further develop it, delay it, or kill it. It's up to us. Because we are given that will. The human will is very powerful. That's why they compare the human will to the God's will. When the Bible says the man is made in God's image, it is the will which is made in the God's image. That's why we can manifest, we are manifesting literally our lives whatever is happening, good or bad. We are the ones, the cause for it. And there is also collective consciousness at work, which is impacting all humanity. So, in order for the collective consciousness to change, I have to fix my conscious state. And that can only happen through meditation, right? So, you can think of intuitive guidance like friendly advice from a caring elder. They come from a place of your well being and growth. The more you adopt and implement and realize, yes, this works, the more guidance flows towards you. There is a Sanskrit statement. I'll translate it. First, I'll say it in the Sanskrit. Anobhadra krutoyanta vishwataha means let the knowledge flow into you from wherever. And Chariji used to say there is lot of guidance and message even in donkey's braying if someone is ready to listen to it, right? Even a donkey braying can give you some message. That means we are open. When I am open, this intuitive knowledge descends into us. The problem is, even this, we need to train ourselves to be open, to change our patterns. And that's why I like this book, Ikigai. If someone has not read it, I recommend you read it. They talk about making small changes, making small things which are achievable. When you when you make changes in very small amounts, it is possible to someday the cumulative effect is more. Lot of times we want to change the whole thing, but we can never change. A smoker says, I'm going to stop my smoking from tomorrow, and the tomorrow never happens, right? So you have to make small changes all the time. Then, so that we can break those patterns. And heartfulness gives you a much powerful tool called cleaning to break those patterns. So we have to use the system, we have to use the practice for our own upliftment. If you are not using the practice, there are people who are there for 30 years and they come to me and complain, I have not changed a bit after 30 years. What does that imply? That means you are there, but you are not using it. Haphazard meditation, haphazard cleaning is not going to help us. So we have to make small changes, do it in a very small way, and feel simple and let that intuition flow into you. It happens. So that's why attitude makes everything. If you go to Daji, what is the quality I must have? He'll say attitude, right? So we'll just finish this paragraph and then we can get into meditation. Aham Brahmasmi, I am the source. So Brahmasmi, I mean Aham Brahmasmi means I am the source, means I am that essence. But the question is, who is that I am, which I am referring to as the essence? What is, how would I say when I say I am, who is that I am? It obviously, my identity starts from the body and my so many other things, my nationality, where I am born, where I belong to, what I know, what I think, what I possess. These are all external modifications. The internal modification, the knowledge I have, the understanding I have, the religion I am subscribed to, or a spiritual system I am subscribed to. Yesterday, someone asked me, how do I know that I have subscribed to the best system. I told him, whatever the system you subscribe to, whatever the religion you have subscribed to is the best. Why? Because you're convinced about that philosophy. Then he asked me, then why, if I say I've subscribed to heartfulness, heartfulness is the best, you can say it is the best, but on what parameters are you saying it is the best? What are your parameters to say it is the best? So, the right thing for me to do is connect with this essence, feel it, be open to it, and that's all it requires. Whatever the method you are following to do that, do it. As long as you understand the goal very clearly. And about the goal, someone asked me, how many heartfulness practitioners have reached the goal so far? And my answer is, whoever meditated, connected with this essence in every meditation, we have reached the goal. We assume we did not reach the goal because we think goal is something else other than what we felt. So that's when this Aham Brahmasmi make more sense. Whatever you are connected to within, if you think your identity is with the body, body is the source. If you think the identity is with the mind, then the mind is the source. If the identity is the consciousness, consciousness is the source. If the identity is with the soul, then soul is the source. It is that simple. We make it very complex. We always think it is not. And that's what is make it so complex. Whatever I feel it is not. Then when can I say I am the source? Never. So a feeling of inseparableness in the form of in the sorry, the feeling of inseparableness from the absolute is felt as one journeys across chakras. This feeling grows finer and finer as one advances towards the higher chakras. So the inseparableness with the absolute is felt at three levels. At the lower level, it appears in the form of feeling, I am the source, and that is, there is no separation between me and the source. Next, it turns into a feeling, all is the source, conveying a sense of universal inseparableness. Everything in creation has a connection with the source. Last, all it assumes the feeling, all from the source. This feeling conveys a sense of extinction at every view leading to a state of non-beingness. I want to dwell a little deeper into this aspect, and it's beautifully said. So in our next session, we'll deep dive into what this universal inseparableness, becoming one, how do we process these three statements, three states, we'll discuss in our next session. All right. Any comments, questions, observations before we proceed to meditation?